Story 1. Getting things done at the last minute. I'm a procrastinator and tend to leave things until I can no longer avoid them. But I work so well under pressure that I always get the thing done and done well. So, other than the fact that I'm miserable while I'm doing it, often late at night when I'd rather be sleeping, I never experience any significant consequences for my procrastination and therefore, I never ever learn. Story 2. I am 31 years old and do not know my real personality. I have interests, but I certainly do not have a strong sense of self. Story 3. Sometimes I worry I have too good a memory. I think I look like I'm lying when I remember loads of details about something I don't really care about. I just heard about it 5 years ago and remembered. Or, remembering personal details someone only told me once ages ago. I'd be like, is this guy reading my emails? Story 4. Lying. I had to, at times, to survive my upbringing. Honesty is something I take very seriously, partially because I feel grossed out by my ability to lie well. Story 5. I'm a good mediator. I can easily calm people down, mitigate arguments, stop kids from crying. It has aided me greatly in customer service jobs. Growing up in a hectic environment as an eldest daughter helped me hone that skill. But I know it can be an unhealthy habit in certain situations, people-pleasing tendencies. Story 6. Faking being an adult when, in reality, I have no idea what is going on 90% of the time. Just kind of figuring it out as I go and hoping no one notices. Story 7. Singing 73% of the lyrics to songs with a bunch of random words and sounds mixed in, while acting out my own music video clearly for MTV. Story 8. Appear trustworthy. Too many people tell me things I do not want to know and ask for advice on personal stuff I cannot help them with. I understand that no one has ever paid attention to you, but I am just trying to be a decent and considerate human being, not your therapist. Story 9. Reading people makes dating or being friendly at work hard when you can immediately spot someone blatantly lying to your face. Don't get me wrong, I can easily push it aside, but it gets annoying sometimes. Story 10. Reading people well enough to be manipulative is a skill I try not to overuse, as my mother took advantage of it, but it comes in handy for emergencies. Story 11. Downplaying my experience in the military to my wife. I really don't want to open that door with her. Story 12. I have been strength training for well over a year, and I have reached the point where my actual strength has exceeded how strong I think I am. This has resulted in me accidentally breaking a lot of things. Story 13. Being hypervigilant, being too sensitive, overthinking, perseverating about every single little thing, worrying. Story 14. Thinking brutally logical. Not on any scientist's level, but in most conversations, I always find myself seeing both sides. Often understanding the psychology of both sides, I have to narrow down what path was founded on the least mistakes or misinterpretations to determine what side is right. Despite me disagreeing with the concept of sides, as I believe optimism is found in balance. The world operates on sides, so I can't reasonably converse with anyone unless I feign their side. I don't really get to vocalize much either, because the majority are emotionally driven. A challenge is seen as a physical threat before it is seen as potential growth. Pride has people in a chokehold nowadays. The price of being wrong is too heavy to pay in exchange for growth. I could go on and on, but that's the gist. I've had people call me a sociopath when I vocalize this. Comments are actually nice on this. Story 15. Keeping people in my life way longer than I should, despite them showing at every opportunity given that they don't care about me. Story 16. Thinking. I have a fast mind and reach conclusions often minutes, sometimes hours, days, or even weeks before others. Then I overthink and also get frustrated waiting for others to catch up. Story 17. Overthinking. If there's even a small chance for a situation to go wrong, by God, my brain will find a way to complicate it and freak me the heck out. Story 18. Delegating. I have a knack for finding exactly where guys who work for me fit and how I can maximize their production to minimize my effort. I'm a construction foreman. Just today, I was sitting in front of my computer thinking to myself, I have all these moving parts and jobs to be done, but it's all covered. What the heck can I do right now? Story 19. Not gonna lie, I can see a person and predict what mood he is in and establish what things he might do from that. Story 20. Walking really quiet, abusive parents will do that to you. I am really good at being stealthy. I am not proud of it, but I had to be in order to survive my family. Story 21. Being able to make event staff laugh. I'm generally fairly entertaining as it is, but I have a special ability to make people running events laugh endlessly, to the point where they will do almost anything I ask, whether it be swag, tickets, or access to anything. Story 22. Telling people the smallest of details about themselves they told me a long time ago, which usually they forget they told me. I randomly tell people about something they told me, and most of the time, it's, "How do you know that?" Story 23. I'm sorry, but I can't fulfill this request. Story 24. Being adaptable based on my environment is essential for my profession. I'm really good at talking to everyone, including the brick wall. Story 25. Saying stuff with complete confidence. People really will believe anything if said with enough confidence and the lack of ability or effort to fact check. Boy, am I glad I don't spew misinformation on purpose. Story 26. My ex-husband says my whole family is pretentious, so that, my bad, I can play Scrabble and do crossword puzzles, and use big words. Forget you, Mike, and forget your terrible cat. The only cat I don't like. Story 27. Getting myself to stop crying and compose myself before someone catches me falling apart. I could have been an actress, to be honest. Story 28. Being manipulative not to hurt others, but how to word things and adjust scenarios to make other people think I am doing okay when that may not be the case. Trust me, ask my friends, and I know I am good at it. Story 29. Entertaining myself. I can feel perfectly content for a very long time without achieving much. Can backfire when I realize I am missing out on important stuff. Story 30. Recognize people in public. No matter how many people there are, if you are in my field of view, I'll instantly notice you. Story 31. Being in the way at grocery stores. It's like the world's worst superpower. I am always, somehow, always in someone's way every time. Story 32. Hiding my real personality behind a facade. People usually think I am a confident young man with his life in order. That is what I pretend to be like. Always with a smile on my face and an uplifting spirit. Always ready to listen to people's troubles so they can get it off of their chests. It sounds like something minor, but in my profession, a nice conversation can really make a huge difference to the people I work for. If that is what it takes to brighten up their day a bit, it is worth it. On the inside, I am broken because of personal issues. Nothing to smile about in my life at the moment. Every second of pretending is almost unbearable, but I will keep doing it. Story 33. 2 superpowers here. Directions. If I've been there once, I can always get back. Forgetting where I parked is a foreign concept to me. I don't get it. Food. Excluding fast food or bad or expensive food, I really don't care where I go out to eat. But wait, there's more. If asked, my response will be, guess what I'm feeling like? What's that place you were telling me about? Want the usual. What's that fast and friendly spot? And what's the name of that restaurant that has the good appetizers? I always pick the best places. Story 34. Reading people is something I do instinctively, almost to a fault. I've had to learn to suppress this ability because it often gets me into trouble. Most people initially think I'm wrong, only to react with greater frustration later because it turns out I was right all along. Notably, when I was 15, I expressed to my family my distrust of the new evangelist at our church. I cautioned them against leaving my little brother or sister alone with him. This warning led to my being seriously punished. However, just 4 days later, the news reported that this very individual had been involved in inappropriate activities with children. Story 35. Calming crying babies. I want to go up to women in the grocery store and tell them, "Give me your baby, I will calm it." Story 36. Concerned. I always imagine the worst possible scenarios that are highly unlikely but include horrible ways my children and I could perish, for example. This happens all the time. I am also always too anxious. Additionally, I am very skilled at pretending to be sober when I have been drinking. I'm also very adept at driving under the influence of alcohol. Story 37. Autopilot and just let my brain wander. Helps me with my shifts as a line cook at work. Gets me through the day. It is basically a loading screen at that point. Story 38. Having an absolutely incredible idea for just a few seconds and then completely forgetting what it was. Story 39. Sneaking up on people. It is a common occurrence that I sneak up on people, usually without even trying to. Story 40. Sleeping. I can sleep anywhere with the light on, in jeans, whatever. My head hits the pillow and I am asleep. I never wake up in the night. My house could probably burn down and I wouldn't wake up. Story 41. Correcting my wife when she says something incorrect or that she heard in a Facebook video, so it has to be true. It hurts every time she asks, "Is it real that?" So, I believe that was called mansplaining or something like that. Every time something is even slightly confusing, she just looks at me and says, "What does that mean?" Now it's a habit. Story 42. Falling asleep. I basically have an off switch. I can fall asleep anywhere in seconds. It's like a superpower that my wife hates me for. Story 43. Doing the absolute bare minimum while making it seem like I'm excelling or overachieving. I've been doing this since middle school, and it's been both helpful and harmful to me. On one hand, things that are necessary to do but are trivial or meaningless are more easily accomplished without seeming incompetent. For example, I was really good at creating essays while looking like I knew what I was talking about. I could skim read books really well and finish them in about a third of the normal amount of time and still get the gist of them. I can make projects that are easy seem really complicated so people think I'm working hard when in reality, I finished the project a week ago. On the other hand, it's a poor habit that has also cost me a fair bit since there are some things where I should have put in more effort, mostly to do with my college years. Even in college, I was really good at faking it till I made it. I never cheated, but I found ways to quickly memorize at the cost of actual understanding certain materials, particularly with math. This let me graduate magna cum laude and as part of the National Honor Society in my chosen field, but I feel like I never actually learned what I should have learned. There may be a bit of imposter syndrome thrown into that feeling as well, but I still think what I mentioned also applies.